time to talk about localization. Another one. So here we have, seeing where the anime girls literally say, Merry Christmas. The localizer still writes out, Happy Holidays. We literally do not hate localizers enough, and of course we have this absolute clown here. Getting in. This is from Uma Musume, if I'm not mistaken. It says, Kurisumasu Party. Christmas party. It's katakana. It's literally written in English, by the way. And they say, Merry Christmas! Yay! Kanpai! Now, it's happy holidays for you now. You will enjoy the holidays. Happy holidays! Well, not quite. And of course you have these people here. Ah, why would they hit localizers for something so fucking minor? Poor choice of words. This is your best example? If it's so minor, why change it? That's the problem. It's not happening. But when it's happening, who cares? Well, I do care. Why would you mistranslate something? It makes no sense to me. And people will say, if you want the original version, just learn Japanese. Well, sure. Think again, why do you have localizers that want to be actual writers, right? That's always been the main problem. I'm asking people to do their job. Sure, I understand. If I want something to be well done, I have to do it myself. But I'm also beholden to entropy, okay? I have limited time in this universe. I cannot learn every possible skill, and even if I did, I don't have all the time in the world to make everything that I would need. I wish that was the case, but it isn't. So you have to prioritize. That's why you have jobs. Well, not everybody knows how to make a sword, so you have a blacksmith. Well, not everybody knows how to properly get food. Well, that's why you get hunters and fishermen and farmers, so on and so forth. Not everybody knows how to cook food. That's why you have cooks and chefs. Not everybody knows how to make a house. That's why you have engineers. Yes, we're going to ignore the architects for a little bit. Maybe they deserve it after all. That's why you have jobs. We're only asking of people to properly do their jobs. It shouldn't be too much, but it is. And I've noticed that this happens, especially, not only, but it's mostly from monolingual English speakers, which is hilarious. But the Japanese language is so strange. It's so different. Sure, English and Japanese are quite different from each other. But you have to understand that the purpose of a language is to convey ideas. If you can convey an idea in English, you can convey the same idea in Japanese, and vice versa, of course. It's just about communication. If you're telling me you're unable to properly convey the same ideas the Japanese people do in their own language, that says a lot about you, not about Japan. And I know I've said this many times before, but I do be speaking several languages, okay? And it's kind of funny when I watch TV and sometimes I hear something strange. I'm like, hold up, what is going on here? Does this make sense? And sure, I usually need to reverse engineer what the original said. It's usually in English, it's not that difficult. And I'm like, oh, so that's probably the original. And oftentimes I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I can see it. It's not bad. It's a reasonable translation, not a big deal. Sometimes also happen the case of, oh, you completely destroyed the joke. And sure, it may have been a joke you cannot translate 100%. But you translated the joke like 10%, but it could have been done like 50%. There are like different levels, different grades that you can go with translation sometimes. So of course it can be done. And even here, in this corner of the map, when I was a kid, we also got anime, right? I also had a tweet about that, which I can also bring up because I think it's kind of topical. And I'm not gonna say the translations were flawless. But with age, I came to realize they were actually pretty decent. What? Are Americans too dumb to translate from Japanese? No, it's not because they're dumb. It's because most of these new age localizers, they have either an agenda to push, which we've also seen many times before, because in this case, some people are saying, oh, but some people do not celebrate Christmas, so Happy Holidays is fair. Yeah, but this is Japan, and they do celebrate Christmas in Japan. How do we know? Because the characters literally said, Merry Christmas, because they had Christmas party written right there. It's just right there. We can go back a little bit, and we can get the important part. Christmas party. Christmas party, it's right there. It's not about, some people do not celebrate. I don't care about other people. I care about what's going on here. If they say, I don't know, Happy Hanukkah, you wouldn't say Happy Holidays. They were literally saying, Happy Hanukkah, I don't care. And most people do not celebrate Hanukkah because most people are not Jewish. And that's fine. It's not about what you think this scene should be about. It's what it actually is. And that's the core. Because they changed the scenes based on two metrics. First, as I said, they have an agenda to push. And second, which I find somewhat as insidious, they are failed writers, they are failed authors. So they have to latch themselves to actual works and modify them to have some sort of, but see, I can also write. It's also a creative endeavor. No, it's not. No, it's not. I do agree that you have to be creative sometimes with the translation, but you cannot build on top. You're supposed to be a vehicle for the message from the author to reach other audiences that don't speak that same language. If it can be done in every single other translation, why is Japanese to English oh so special? No, it's not. No, it's not. So I guess we can also bring out the other tweet. I didn't plan on it, but I'm gonna shield myself a little bit too. Okay, which is kind of the same issue. So we had this guy here, Neil Broadley, apparently Saga Localization Director. Oh boy, prepare the spices. The onigiri / jelly donut example from Pokemon fascinates me, because I get why the choice was made, even if I wouldn't have made it myself. A 6-year-old American child in 1997 will find the rice bowl infinitely weirder than one in 2025. That is insane. That is something extremely insane to say, because you're completely ignoring what's happening on the screen. You might not know this, but I think it's pretty obvious if you think about it for more than 5 seconds. The main sense we humans have, and other humanoids, is sight. We can see what's going on. Show, don't tell, I suppose. So, I have my own thought about this, right? I grew up watching the likes of Doraemon and Crayon Shin-chan. Rice balls, dorayaki, mochi, or even takoyaki were not difficult to grasp, even if you didn't fully understand the ingredients. I mean, to this day I'm still not sure what the butter for takoyaki is actually made of, and that's okay. I understand it's butter and it's okay. When I was a kid I thought that dorayaki were filled with chocolate. It's not, it's actually red bean paste. I don't think I've ever tried dorayaki, even to this day. I wouldn't mind it. Kids are smarter than you think, especially when they have contextual and visual information. And if you bring up the classic jelly donut scene, you see it's a rice ball, it's an onigiri. It's not difficult to understand. It's a rice ball. You don't need to say onigiri, it's fine. You can just say rice ball. And you will be like, okay, it's a ball made of rice. I know what a ball is. I know what rice is. Not a difficult concept to understand. It makes sense. How do they prepare the rice for it to stick together? That's a different thing, but you understand. It's food. It's rice. Even as a kid, in the West, you probably had rice once or twice in your lifetime. It's not that uncommon. Once again, it's not so difficult to translate things properly. But they will tell you, it's not important. Who cares? It's something minor. Well, no, it's not. No, it really isn't. Because you're completely ignoring what the other is trying to convey. And as a closing note here, I want to add something that has been living rent-free in my mind for a little bit. Because it kinda has to do with this, to some extent, and how things have changed in the past 20 years. I'm so old. A movie that I quite enjoy is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. And the first movie, there's this scene, right? It's about the middle to the end at some point, where the main characters get confronted by the mummy itself, Imhotep, and the mummy is speaking some sort of Egyptian language, right? Doesn't speak like English or whatever you're watching the movie. So it has a translator, a guy called Benny, just nothing more than a scoundrel, right? And there's this point where the main characters are being confronted by these guys and a throng of thralls, almost said that backwards. And the mummy says something, and Benny translates as something like, "Come with me and we'll be together forever." And Eve, one of the main characters, a scholar, corrects him, saying, "Together for all eternity." That scene is not meant to showcase, she's so nasty and she's so annoying, she's always nagging and complaining. No, that's to show you the difference between a scoundrel and an actual scholar, even when the situation is so dire. She's one-upping this scoundrel by telling him, "You're trash at this, and I'm better than you, because you're not translating properly, because translation is something important. After all, if you're translating texts from, in this case, ancient Egypt, it needs to be the closest possible to the original, because you cannot allow any meaning to disappear." But then again, I suppose that's the difference between translation and modern day localization. If AI brings everything, maybe translations will be good at some point.